Every modern soldier looks down, not at the ground. At a screen, GPS radar targeting systems. What happens when those screens start lying? A fighter jet locks onto a target. The pilot trusts the display, but the target isn't there. It never was. For 30 years, digital warfare meant dominance. Screens showed everything. Enemies, terrain, friendlies, the battlefield perfectly mapped. Or so they believed. One rule kept it all together. Trust the screen. But what if the enemy learns to rewrite what you see? It's called spoofing. Fake signals. False positions. Your GPS says you're 10 miles north. You're not. You never were. Black Sea, 2017. 20 ships report the same error. GPS shows them 25 miles inland. On an airport runway, no malfunction. No accident. Russia tested something that day. Not a weapon you can see. A weapon that makes you see wrong. And GPS is just the beginning. Radar, drones, hijackable, satellites, jammable. Every screen, a potential traitor. The U.S. military runs on data. $800 billion a year. The most advanced systems on Earth. But all of it flows through signals. Signals can be manipulated. Imagine a carrier strike group. Sure are ships. Low-10 sailors, T-shoe aircraft. Their targeting screens show enemy missiles. They fire countermeasures. But the missiles weren't real. While they chase ghosts, the real strike comes from behind. No warning, no time. The screen showed the wrong threat. This isn't theory. In Ukraine, soldiers report GPS jumping wildly. Drones lose control mid-flight. Artillery shells land miles off target. The battlefield has already changed. Electronic warfare isn't new, but the scale, unprecedented. Russia deploys it daily. China has invested billions. Even Iran and North Korea are catching up. The question no general wants to ask: what do you do when your billion-dollar systems can't tell friend from enemy? Because that's the real war now. Not bullets, not bombs, but trust. And trust, once broken, doesn't reboot. Let's go back. 1991. Desert Storm. America unveiled a new kind of war. Precision-guided everything. The world watched in awe. Tomahawk missiles hit windows. Smart bombs dropped down ventilation shafts. GPS turned chaos into geometry. The screen became the weapon. Every military on Earth took notes. If you can't beat America's technology, find a way to blind it. Russia started first. After watching their allies crumble in Iraq, they asked one question: how do we make their screens go dark? The answer: electronic warfare units. Not tanks, not jets, trucks, antennas, signal processors. Invisible weapons for an invisible war. By 2010, Russia had an entire brigade dedicated to jamming, spoofing, deceiving. NATO didn't take it seriously. That was a mistake. Crimea, 2014. Ukrainian commanders reported strange failures. Radios stopped working. Drones crashed for no reason. GPS pointed to random locations. Russian forces moved like ghosts. No signals to intercept. No positions to track. They had gone dark and made Ukraine blind. Western analysts studied the footage. The same phrase appeared in every report: electronic environment denied. The screen age had a weakness, and that weakness is physics. Radio waves can be jammed. Frequencies can be overwhelmed. Every signal has a countersignal. You don't need to destroy a satellite. Just drown its signal in noise. The trillion-dollar network, beaten by a $50,000 jammer, John China, watched Crimea carefully. They didn't copy Russia. They went further. Much further. The PLA Strategic Support Force created in 2015, 175,000 personnel. Mission, control space, cyber, and electronic warfare, all under one command. They've built systems that could blind American satellites, jam aircraft carriers, spoof drone swarms. The Pacific was becoming contested spectrum. And here's what keeps Pentagon planners awake. American forces have never fought without screens. Not once. Not since 1991. What happens when they have to? Arling Arsen exercise, California desert. A Marine battalion advances with full tech support. Drones overhead. GPS locked. Targeting linked. Then everything stops. The opposing force activated jammers. Commercial grade. Cheap. Within minutes, the Marines were guessing. Maps didn't match terrain. Radios only caught static. A lieutenant pulled out a paper map. He hadn't used one since training. Half his squad didn't know how to read it. They lost the exercise, badly afterward. One officer said, "We forgot how to fight dumb, but the enemy hasn't forgotten." Russia trains units to operate in full blackout. No GPS, no digital comms. Just compasses, coded signals, and instinct. China does the same. Their doctrine assumes American satellites are gone in hour one. They plan for a blind enemy. Do we plan for blindness? Here's the problem with technology. It atrophies what it replaces. Navigators forget to navigate. Gunners forget to estimate range. Trust the screen. Forget the skill. The U.S. Army found soldiers who couldn't read a compass. The Navy found sailors who couldn't plot stars. Not old sailors. New ones. Trained entirely on digital systems. Now imagine a real war. First strike. Satellites. Jammed. Second strike. Drones go haywire. Third strike. GPS sends convoys into ambushes. Who adapts faster? The force trained without technology, or the force that can't function without it? Ukraine is providing answers. Both sides jam constantly. Drones have a lifespan of 3 flights. Artillery coordinates are corrected by hand now. Soldiers duct tape extra batteries to jammers. They swap frequencies mid-mission. Adapt or die. The screen is no longer king. Russia's Krasuka-4 system, range 300 kilometers. Capability, blind airborne radar completely. 1 truck, 1 crew, an entire squadron flying blind. And it's not just Russia. Iran jammed AOS RQ-170 drone. They didn't shoot it down. They tricked it into landing. Then they captured it. The drone thought it was home. Its screen said safe coordinates. But the screen was wrong. Iran had rewritten its reality. So what do militaries do now? Some double down on technology. Encrypted signals, hardened systems, AI filtering, fight deception with complexity. Others go the opposite direction. Analog backups, paper orders, human scouts, fight deception with simplicity. The truth, both are needed. Technology will be attacked. The question is, what's your backup? The U.S. Army now trains GPS-denied exercises, navigate without satellites, communicate without networks, think without screens. The Marines are relearning celestial navigation. Stars don't get jammed. The North Star doesn't spoof. Ancient skills for a modern war. But here's the uncomfortable reality. You can't train away decades of dependence. An 18-year-old recruit has never lived without GPS. Neither has their commander. The culture has to change. Trust the screen, but verify. Always have a fallback. Assume the enemy is watching, because they are. Every signal you send is a signature. Every emission can be tracked. In electronic warfare, silence is armor. Russia calls it maskirovka, deception, misdirection, confusion. Make the enemy see what isn't there. Make them miss what is a false division on the screen. Fake radio traffic on the airwaves. Dummy tanks with heat signatures. The digital battlefield becomes a funhouse mirror. How do you shoot what isn't there? How do you defend against ghosts? How do you win when nothing is certain? This is the new fog of war. Not smoke and dust, but bad data. Corrupted signals. Broken trust. The screen shows a map, but is the map real? In 2020, Armenia trusted their screens. Their drones showed the battlefield. Their radars tracked the enemy. They felt confident. Azerbaijan attacked with Turkish drones. But first, they jammed Armenian air defenses. Radars saw nothing. Screens stayed calm. By the time soldiers looked up, the drones were already overhead. The war lasted 44 days. Armenia lost. Lesson learned, too late. If your defense depends on screens, blind the screens first. The rest is just cleanup. Now multiply that across a superpower conflict. Thousands of aircraft, hundreds of ships, millions of data points, all vulnerable. China's strategy for Taiwan assumes this. First wave, cyber attacks on command networks. Second wave, satellite jamming. Third wave, when America is confused, strike. Would it work? Nobody knows. But the fact that it might, that's the problem. Deterrence depends on certainty. If you attack, we respond. But what if you don't know you've been attacked? What if your screens show peace while war begins? This is why electronic warfare is escalating, not as a sideshow. As the main event, control the spectrum, control the battle. The U.S. has responded. New units, new doctrines, new funding. The 915th Cyber Warfare Battalion, the Navy's Nemesis program, the Army's MFEW system, but the enemy adapts too. Every countermeasure has a countermeasure. Every signal can be analyzed. Every frequency can be found. It's an arms race without bullets, invisible, constant, evolving, and unlike nuclear weapons, it's already being used. Every day, aircraft test each other's signals. Jammers probe defenses. Satellites get laser range. The electronic war never stops. Civilians feel it too. Airlines report GPS interference near conflict zones. Ships lose navigation near military exercises. The battlefield is leaking into the civilian world. Poland. Civilian aircraft report GPS failures. Pilots switch to backup systems. The cause? Russian jamming from Kaliningrad, hundreds of miles away. What happens when a passenger jet can't navigate? What happens when a hospital loses GPS timing? What happens when financial systems can't sync? Modern society is screen-dependent, too. This is the hidden fragility, not just military. Everything. Power grids, stock markets, emergency services, all connected, all vulnerable. The military problem is a civilization problem. We built a world that trusts signals. We never asked, what if the signals lie? Some nations are preparing.